everyone, to another episode of Closer Encounters. I am your host, Clarence Mitchell, coming to you live from somewhere, Minnesota. Would you like to be a guest on Closer Encounters? Or maybe you know someone that would like to be a guest on Closer Encounters. Or maybe you have a story to share. Well, please, shoot us an email. closerencounters.info@gmail.com. Again, that's closerencounters.info@gmail.com. For everything Closer Encounters, updates, all things going on, check us out, www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. Again, www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. And please don't forget to like, follow, and share. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Closer Encounters. How we doing tonight? Cool. Wow, look at all the people we got in here already. I see Brandon's with us. Vita, Allison. I'm sorry, dear, if I pronounced that wrong. Julie's with us. Pamela, Steve from Australia. Hello. VJ's with us. Good. Fantastic. Yeah, I wasn't for sure if I was going to get this up and running tonight. BJ says she's doing great. Good deal. Yeah, I was doing some more research and stuff on a few things and decided that tonight would be a good night. Because you see my episode there, it's called Light My Fire. And it actually has to do with spontaneous human combustion. That's what I want to talk about tonight. As you know, I got this theory about the wormholes and the personal portals and stuff like that going on. So I've been doing some more research on this stuff and, trying to dig into it a little bit deeper and trying to get things, situated, so I can give it a real good presentation, And hello, Eric, how are you? And, so in the meantime, while I was doing all this, I ran on to all this stuff about, spontaneous human combustion. And I thought, we really don't get into depth about such things like this. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, why not? It's a good subject. A lot of people may or may not know about it. And, so I thought we'd bring it up and see how it goes, So that'll be pretty cool. Excuse me. Got the I'm still a little, over the week or so, but yeah, we'll be all right. Coronavirus. Oh my goodness. Six total now, I guess, unless something else happened in the next, in the last day or so. But yeah, total's gone up to 6. Thank you, Eric. Eric says, I love this show. I was watching the news today. What's up, brother? Yeah, we're going to find out here, Eric. But yeah, I was watching the news today, and they had the Democratic, the House Democrats and that do their podium talk today, and then of course the Republicans, they came in and did their talk today, giving us updates and stuff. It sickens me really how political this whole ordeal is. It's about it's about the people. It's not about policies, and you know what I'm saying. And it's just ridiculous what's going on as far as the White House and stuff is concerned. They really need to get their shit together. But I appreciate them giving us the updates and stuff like that. But now it's not the time to be politically challenging one another or whatever. Now it's the time to step up and make sure this thing don't get out of control. And so hopefully that's going to happen. So hello, Mr. Rooker. Mr. Dave's with us. How are you, sir? Vita says, I too sneezing here, not feeling best from Australia flu season. Ooh. Yucky. Yeah. Not a good thing, but warmer weather's on its way. So hopefully, this thing won't get too far out of control. I'm hoping the warmer weather will kick it in the butt and be done with it. So keep your fingers crossed. We're not out of the woods by any means, and but yeah, a lot of crazy stuff. Still a lot of conspiracy theories going on out there with it. I don't know. First case here today in North Carolina. Is that right? Wow. Yeah. And you see, and I think that I think a lot of I think all 6, if I'm not mistaken, I think all 6 of the ones that died so far have been out of Washington State, haven't they, or not? Or does anybody really know? I'm just assuming that's where they were. Hello, Michael. Michael's with us. Michael Price. Good to have you, sir. Yeah. So, yeah, it's worrisome. I mean, but like I said on our last broadcast, if you're feeling sick, go to the doctor, go to the hospital, do whatever. Don't go around people, don't go in the stores. Don't, and that's the thing. They got this thing where everybody's so afraid that they're running all to the stores, buying up all the food and getting all the medications and stuff. And it's just, you're just spreading it around, and then the more you spread it, the more they spread it, and so on and so forth. So people got to be smart about this, but I don't know. Just take heed. Be careful. That's all I can say. BJ says, I believe they all are in the same nursing home. Yeah, that's what I understand, that most of them were elderly anyway. No young people yet. I think everybody's been 50 and over, if I'm not mistaken. And most of them were preconditioned, have other illnesses. So, Mr. Rob, how are you, sir? Mr. Rob Oxmeyer is with us. He was on our last show. Good to see you, sir. Good deal. Okay, so we got that out of the way. I just wanted to touch base on it. I'm not going to get too crazy about it. But like I said, just I hope everybody's being safe and, doing what you can. Take your vitamin C, supplements, whatever, wash your hands every so often, and just, be aware of your surroundings. So, all head immunodeficiency problem pre-existing. Yeah, I believe that. Cool. Hello, Gail. Gail Carpenter's with us. Good deal. Good deal. Glad to see her. How are you, dear? Cool. All right. Yeah, we're getting a good room full in. If you haven't noticed, and I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, I looked on Facebook, and when I last looked, I was one person away on our Closer Encounters page of being 1,300 likes on that page. So, yeah, I was at $12.99. So one more person, I'll be at 300. So, that's pretty awesome. 1,300. Yeah. So, anyway, but I do love you guys. Thank you very much for doing that for me. It's awesome. Really cool. So yeah, here we go. Light my fire. Spontaneous human combustion. This is what I wanted to talk about. And first of all, I just want to show you. Now, like I said, I have this new theory out about the wormholes and the personal portals and all this stuff. And I did mention spontaneous human combustion. And as I was researching more in the last couple of days on my new theory, wow, look at that. Rob says we had 1,537 views of our last show last time I checked. Cool. Good deal. Fantastic. But yeah, doing this extra research, I got into the spontaneous combustion part and came up with a whole bunch of stuff on here. So I just thought, we'd do a neat little show tonight about it. Let me go to my share screen here. And let me see if I can find the first one. There's no audio in this, so nothing right now. I don't have any kind of oop, where did we go? Okay. So here it says that there's only 200 reported cases. Now, this is back in 2013. And quite honestly, I think they're off on that. I really do. And but this is just one of those deals that and I don't know, like I said, I don't know how much Google, because I know sometimes when I search for certain things, especially on Google, they tend to not show you what you're looking for. It's almost like you're censored or something of that nature. It's just like Wikipedia sometimes, they don't always tell you the whole shebang, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to, but it says here, there was about 200 reported cases of incidents that may have been spontaneous human combustion. And it says, here are a few of those cases, and it gives you the quick 7 that they give you. But we're going to go beyond that here in a little bit. I just want to cue this up here so I know. So the next thing I want to do here. So let's stop that share there, and let's go on to this other one here. Let me bring this other one up. Here we go. Now this one, this is a a big list. It's spontaneous human combustion reports in chronological order. And I can scroll this down for you. And I don't know if you guys can read this or not because of the color layout that they have on here. But this goes all the way back. Of course, it talks about other things too on here, which I didn't really appreciate. But like the very first one is 0163 BCE, and it says fire-breathing bull, which is an animal. Yeah. So, I mean, there's all kind of dates here. They got the 1000s, 1400s, knight's death by fire breathing. 1468, Polonus Votis, fiery death. 1600, 1699, English woman's fiery death. So on and so forth. So they got a bunch of things in here that really don't matter much as far as I'm concerned. They don't, read outright. But then there's one here, like 1644, January 22nd, woman's fiery stomach, death by fire breathing, is another one there. And, but anyway, you can scroll on down. There's a whole bunch of them, all the way into the 1800s. We scroll on down, and there's got to be more than 200 on this page at least. Then you get into the 1900s, and this is where we get a little more closer to home, so to speak. And it just gives you the whole breakdown of, into the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2010, 2013, and 2017. So, that was the last reported case, according to this anyway. It was 2017. But quite a bit of a thing. Now I can bring up, let's see, I wanted to find the one, let's see here. I want to go back to 1950s, I think it was. Let's see here. Maybe it was 60s. Let's see here. 61, 62, 52, 53. Is that Esther? Esther. Let's see here. American magazine devoted to paranormal and strange topics long included a section by Curtis Fuller called I See by the Papers, which featured news snippets often sent in by readers in the December issue of Fate. Fuller briefly noted an article that had been sent to him from a reader in Los Angeles. According to Fuller, in May of 1953, the remains of a 30-year-old Mrs. Esther Doolin were discovered in her home in Los Angeles, California. She had apparently fallen asleep in an overstuffed chair. Her body and chair were virtually consumed by fire, having burned through the floor and fallen into the room below. No other rooms or object in the house were damaged. The coroner ruled that Doolin had fallen asleep from an overdose of sleeping pills while smoking a cigarette. The main mystery was that no one understood how a fire could burn so intensely to incinerate Doolin and the chair, yet not cause any more damage throughout the room or the structure. And that's basically the same story with just about every single case of this. And that's the whole crazy thing about it, is it always seems to burn just part of the body. Usually it's like the midsection. Sometimes it gets the shoulders and the head, the skull and stuff like that. A lot of times they'll find both arms, maybe both legs, things of that nature. But what's really crazy about it is the fact that it actually will turn bone to ash. Okay. Now, they have this idea, which they call the wick effect. And I think a lot of you know what that is. But what they did was they took a pig, a dead one, and they wrapped it in a blanket. And even though it took them a long time to get the blanket to burn, okay, it caused the fat of the pig to burn like a candle. With the blanket around it, it acts like a candle, and the fat and everything acts, like the wax of the candle and everything, and it burns, from the inside out. Now, some of these cases, they're assuming that it took, 6, 7, 8 hours, whatever, for the body to smolder to the point of, where they found it and whatever. And of course, like I said, burns through the chairs, burns through the floors, stuff like that, but it doesn't catch the whole house on fire. So, it's just, I don't know. I just don't buy it. I mean, I understand where they're coming from. I'm part of that because fat will burn, obviously, if you ever cooked a chicken or anything like that on an open grill or a hamburger or a steak, you get that flare up of flame, from the grease dripping down and stuff like that. But I just can't see something that smolders like that turning bone into ash. To me, it's just not hot enough to do that. Okay. Another thing is, and I kind of dispute them because, well, you may or may not know this, but back in my high school days, at the age of 18, I was on a volunteer fire department for a few years before I went in the military. And then, of course, when I came home on leave and after my military service, I was on our town's fire department for a while. And I've gone to some pretty horrific fires, and I've seen some remains of people. And we've had barn fires and stuff where animals and that were in the fires, and stuff like that. And I never seen anything burned to the point of, ash. Okay. Not as far as animals and human bodies and stuff. It takes a lot of heat. I mean, seriously, it really does. But that's just my assumption, that's what I'm saying. You think back about like the monks back in the day when they did their thing, they poured gas on themselves and they light themselves up. They basically disfigured themselves. Once they turned to charcoal or whatever, they were put out. Their bodies didn't keep burning. So, it ain't like they went to ash in a pile of ash or whatever in the middle of the thing. So, BJ says grease fire doesn't get to 3,000 degrees and incinerate to that extreme. No, and I have to agree with that. I've been in some pretty hot fires, barn fires, and Gail says you never had a knot flash with you've never had a knot flash. Well, I tell you, I've been in some pretty hot fires, and we had a shoe factory one time that burnt down to the ground and stuff, and it took us like 2 days to put it out, whatever. And that's leather and rubber and everything else, and I've seen tire fires and barn fires full of hay and different other things. I mean, I've seen all kind of different fires, car fires, things like that. And you'd be surprised what's left over, from a really hot blaze like that. So I just can't buy this going to sleep with a pipe or a cigarette in your hand, catching your clothes on fire, and then burning your body from the outside. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it happening like that. Of course, back in the day, early days, they thought it was all about alcoholism. People, and like I said, you really have to be like a sponge to get enough alcohol in you to burn like that. But I just don't see it. Not flash, Gail says. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I just, I don't know. I just don't buy it. But we'll show you something else here. Now, if you guys have children in the room, or if you have a weak stomach or anything like that, I'm going to advise you right now not to look at this, at these. I'm going to bring up some photos here. Let me see here. And we'll see how these look. We'll go back to the screen share. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay. We'll take this first one here. Well, this is normally, I hope you guys can see this. This is normally what people see here with the 2 legs in the chair and stuff like that. Hello, Sharon. How are you, dear? I see Sharon come in. She said, just spotted you. Cool. And then you see like the one there. Well, let me go back to it here. This one here, this is the one lady that was sitting in her chair. And let me see if I can bring that up to a bigger thing. Probably not. No. No, it's not going to do it. Okay. Well, anyway, she was sitting in her chair. She's a pretty famous one. This is Mary Reeser that died spontaneously. And all they found was one leg, one part of her leg. That was it. And it had a slipper on it. And so her other leg is gone. Her arms are gone. And this is the odd thing about this particular case is her head, her skull had shrunk to the size of a teacup. Okay. Now, normally, what happens to animals and humans, and I hate to say it this way, but normally the heads explode on people that are on fire and have been burnt. Okay. That's just pretty much common knowledge as far as fire marshals and, things of that nature. But here's a picture of them cleaning up the mess there. She was just a thing of ash. That's all that was left of her. Pretty crazy stuff, let's see here. And this is her here. Now, I will say this: a lot of these cases are women. The women are probably twice as many as men, maybe even 3 times as many as men. I'll probably take it up that high. More women than there are men as far as that goes. Let's see here. I want to find this other one. Oh, here it is right here. This one here was an elderly gentleman who he was in his bathrobe, and he was a pipe smoker, but his pipe laid next to his bed, on his nightstand. And what happened was he had a meter reader that was going to come in and read his meter, gas or electric or whatever. So normally he came into the house and he went down into the cellar, to read the meter. That's where a lot of these older houses, had their meters and stuff at one time. And as he went to read the meter, he noticed this particular smell. He said it was kind of a sweet smell, whatever. And as he got down in the basement, he seen this pile of ash on the floor. And he happened to look up above it, and there was a hole in the floor, and he couldn't figure out what in the heck this was. So it dawned on him that something had burned through the floor. So he went upstairs and went into the bathroom, and this is what he found. Now, if you can see this picture, this is only one leg with a slipper on it, and his walker. This is his walker in his bathroom. Okay, and the walker itself still has the rubber feet on the bottom of it. Okay, and the wheels. You see the wheels here? There's two wheels, and the rubber things are on the bottom. So it did not even get hot enough. It scorched, the railing and stuff right here. Basically, what looks like to me like he kind of slumped over the front of it, maybe a little bit, and because you can see some of the burn marks here on the deal there. But then he just like he collapsed in between his walker, maybe, and burned a hole through the floor right here, and all his ash and everything went right down into the floor. But there was only one part of one leg. That's all that was left of him. Everything else was ash down in the basement. So that's that's pretty crazy stuff. Here's another one here of I can't think who the hell this person was now, but this shows both legs, and the chair is gone. The wall is still intact. There's some soot there on the thing. Look at this chair sitting here. Nothing, bed, everything else, everything's fine. The only thing that burnt was basically just above the thigh, and the rest of the body, totally ash, gone. And they're claiming that this is cigarette use and different other things, that your body's acting like a candle, and this is what happens. And because the extremities, like the legs here, okay, like these, like the pictures of the legs and stuff, is because when they're sitting in a chair, the heat rises, it goes upward. So your legs are basically down below the fire, is what they're saying, because it starts from your abdomen up. So that's why 90% of the times they find your legs and feet instead of other things. So, and if they happen to find your arms or your hands, it's because you didn't have them close to your body at the time of the incident. So, trying to see here if I could find something. Now here's one here. This one's a little spooky. I don't know if you can see it or not. See if I can bring it. No, it's not going to let me. I wish it would. Excuse me. But you can actually see the skeletal outline where he's laying there on the floor. And this is both his legs. Pretty crazy stuff. Let's see here. We can get a better picture. Excuse me. Yeah, they don't have a whole lot of pictures. They didn't really start documenting this stuff until later on. So, yeah. Wish we could find. Oh, here's one here. Let's see here. I wish it would blow up more. This here was a gentleman. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Oh man, I wish it would blow up a lot more. But uh, he was found in front of his fireplace, and as you can see, there's nothing left of him there. It's just a burn mark, some ash and stuff in the middle of the floor. Both of his legs, basically from the knees down, is left, and nothing else burnt. Look at the carpet. Nothing, just, you know, nothing else burnt. But they claim that this guy may have had a spark thrown on him, uh, you know, and that his robe may have caught fire or whatever. I mean, this is the thing that they're coming up with, that wick effect. That's what they're trying to say. So it's just, I don't know. I just don't buy it myself. So yeah, it is weird, isn't it? Some of these, well, most of those, Gail, that I showed were in the 1950s and 60s. You can tell they're black and white photos, most of them. Um, the early ones, I can't find any photographs from the newer ones, like the one here they just had a couple years ago. They have no photographs. They're not releasing them for whatever reason. So it's kind of heartbreaking. But you know, I wish they would have. Dave says, my wife is having a hard time believing in spontaneous human combustion. I'm trying my best to explain also. Right, Jennifer? LOL. It's funny. And of course, hey, this is cool. We got the happy couple here. Yeah. Hi, Jennifer. How are you, dear? Says, I'm sorry. I just don't know how this could happen. LOL. Unless it was some nasty flesh eating bacteria. Yeah. I know it's quite a thing. But of course, this is where um, now VJ has a good point. She says, I think it happens a lot faster than they portray it, like a flash fire from inside the body. Right. And that's what I say. I don't think it's a smoldering kind of thing. Of course, the only thing that really gets me about that is like the beds that they are laying in or the chairs they're sitting in. Now you have to remember too that this is back in the day when they had polyester, cotton, things of this nature. All our furniture was so flammable back then. We had, remember the old style foam seat cushions that would just, we don't have none of that stuff anymore. Everything now is flame retardant. Um, Even our clothing, we don't wear polyester no more. I'm saying leisure suits and things like that. So, when it comes to back in that time, 50s and 60s and even earlier, sometimes in the 40s or whatever, uh, fires in homes and that was a whole lot of, different stuff. Your clothing was different, your furniture was different. Hell, even our houses were different, you know. So it's just crazy. I just don't get it. But Sharon says destroy of alien implant evidence by aliens. Yeah. Well, see, and this is part of my theory about the wormhole and the personal portal deal, where I think it's a lot to do with pure energy. I honestly think that, well, you heard me say on my theory that when they enter this particular type of wormhole, it's only, it's a closed deal. It doesn't, you have nowhere to go. and it basically collapses in on you. And this is what happens to you. I think it actually destroys you. I think it burns you up. Now, that's just a theory. I can't, I'm still working on it. This is how I came about doing all this tonight, So, but I honestly think it's instantaneous. I don't think it's a slow burn. I think it happens rather fast. Now, I even told you that I have a friend of mine that I worked with. Now, he was struck by lightning, and Brandon can tell you about that also. He knows him, Mr. Mott there. My father had an aunt or cousin, I don't know. But anyway, she was only like 14 years old, who went out to get the cows in before a big storm hit, and she got struck by lightning. Now, with her, it did kill her, and it did hit her on top of the head, and it came out one of her heels on her foot. But she didn't turn to ash, okay? Basically, it boils her blood, And the same thing happened with our friend there from work. He was carrying his girl. They were at a baseball game. It started raining, thunder, and lightning. Everybody's leaving the game, heading to the cars. He's carrying his daughter. Bang, he gets hit. It throws him and his daughter. His daughter got superficial burns, contact burns, basically. But, James there, he got hit so hard that, it boiled his blood, knocked him out and whatever. It blinded him. He's blind to this day. He did survive, though, He's still alive. So that's just, a couple of things, But Julie says it would have to. They've had to gone in order not to know that they're on fire. If you're aware, you aren't just going to sit there and let it happen. And that's another thing. See, in all these cases, and this is why I can't trust a lot of these scientists and doctors and whatever, because they get these ideas that, well, they had to be passed out, or they had to be drunk and they didn't know what they were doing, or they fell down, they hit their head and knocked themselves out. I mean, this is the kind of crap that they try to feed you just to fit their narrative. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's right, Jennifer says no current pictures like this. They are all old. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find, I don't know. Let me look here. A lot of the stuff that you see on here is Hollywood kind of stuff that they got here. Human combustion video. I don't think that's a video. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of these are older pictures, and I wish they Yeah, I just don't I don't. Oh, what the hell was that? Oh, where do we go here? What is this? That looks kind of fakey to me. Hang on, let me see what this is. Let me hit that. Hang on, let me read this. I don't know. I've never seen this one before. Cocktails and conspiracies. 200 deaths caused by spontaneous human combustion in the past 300 years. Was listed as under regular circumstances, the human body, which is made of a 60% to 70% water, which is another point. I was going to point that out earlier too. Simply does not propose the elements needed to combust high heat and flammable material. Experts can attest that fires burning so hot as to turn human bone to ash don't leave surrounding areas untouched, yet spontaneous human combustion occurs without the rest of the room or surroundings going up in flames. One of the most famous cases involved Mary Reeser. That was the first one that I showed you with the older lady. An elderly woman found by her landlady when she saw smoke, noticed the door handle was hot. When the police entered her apartment, Mary's body was completely burned except for one leg. The most recent case was reported in 2010. Michael Faraday in Ireland, the coroner declared his death to be due to spontaneous combustion, that there was no other apparent cause. Wow. And this is a podcast, so I'm not going to play that. But I don't know where the other show other pictures. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's showing the same. There's that guy there with the one leg. Now, if this is real, I don't know. I can't believe that one's real. There's just another one that we looked at earlier. If this picture is real, I don't know. I don't see how it can be though. But looks like a recreation. Looks kind of fakey, but it just gives you the thing. But you notice the chair here. It's a wooden chair with a thing on it, and it's got all kind of ash laying around it and everything like that. But the floor don't look right. That floor looks like a concrete floor. So I don't think this is real. I think this is made up. So yeah. But yeah, just look it up on your okay, let's see what we got here. Family Floor, Victorian, Helen Conway, Natural, Apartment Lady, Belief, Sodium. Let's see, what is natural? Here we go. I think this is the newer picture. Come on. I wish it was bigger. This is the one by the fireplace that we talked about earlier. You can see here, there's nothing but ash and just the bottom parts of the legs. That's it. No arms, no skull, no nothing. Yeah, so they don't give us very. Oh, here you go. Here's a good one. Look at that. Look at that. There you go. Here's the shoes right here. This guy looks like he had one of those metal leg brace things on his leg. See that right there? This was his chair. Just right to his knee. Everything else is gone. Look at that. No head, no ribs, no pelvic region, no nothing. Just the back of his chair, what's left of the one leg of his chair looks like. Burnt right down to nothing. Nothing but ash. And look here. This is all like a wooden coffee table. This is on carpet. Look at that. No burn. No fire. No nothing. Now you explain that to me. How does that happen? Crazy. Crazy stuff. Oh, was that? Did you guys see them? Were they even shown? Was I sharing the screen, or was it just me talking? I'm sorry. Let me go. We aren't seeing it, Clarence. I'm sorry. That's my fault. Let me bring them pictures back up for you. Oh my gosh. Yeah, where's Jennifer? Jennifer, here she is. Here, I'll give you a good picture here, Jennifer. Hang on. You're gonna like this. Well, maybe not like it, but yeah. Hang on. Here we go. Right there. You see the let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit further. Maybe I can make this one bigger. Nope. Crap. No, can't do that. Okay. Well, I was hoping I could zoom it in for you, but yeah, look at that. Just his two legs. This is the chair he was sitting in. This is the the back of the chair, um, like one leg of the chair, and the rest of the chair is gone. Like the chair would have went up. It's like a recliner kind of thing. Big back chair, and the whole back is gone. The other side is gone. The cushion's gone. Everything's gone. The only thing's left. Now he was wearing a leg brace here. This is a metal leg brace that runs up the side of his leg to his kneecap here, as you can see. And then this is his other shoe and his other leg here. I wish I could bring that in closer for you. There, can you see it now? Yeah. Yeah, like BJ says, no blood, no nothing. BJ says, I think it still happens, but it's covered up because they can't explain it, so won't release pictures. That's why they don't have a answer for it. Yeah, I believe that too. Sharon says, regardless of experts, bones don't pulverize just from clothing on fire. Nope, that's exactly right. Yep. Rob says, sometimes my girlfriend gets my blood boiling so mad you might really spontaneous combustion is funny. And no blood from remaining parts. Nope. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's just crazy stuff. No doubt about it. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, so that's the newest one, I guess, that they have there. Most all this other stuff is all Hollywood kind of stuff that they got going on here. There was pictures somewhere, if I can find it, of a pair of leather shoes. I bet you it's not going to be on this roll here. Well, I wish I could. Is this it? I don't think this is it. No, no, that's not it. That's fake. Hmm. Yeah. We're not getting much on it, unfortunately. Brian Ford. No. No, we're not going to get anything new by the looks of it. They're kind of keeping it away from us. Unfortunately. So, anywho, yeah, crazy stuff. Any blue book cases on this? No, nothing like that at all, Sharon. This really isn't part of the ufology mainstream, if you know what I'm saying. But with my theory, it kind of brings it into the ufology part of the thing, you know. So, okay, let me screen share this real quick. Let's see here. The Skeptic's Dictionary. Okay. I don't know if you can read this or not. I wish there was a way of blowing this up more. Okay, now this says spontaneous human combustion, SHC, is the alleged process of a human body catching fire as a result of heat generated by internal chemical or nuclear action. Now, see, no one's ever said that before. While no one has ever witnessed SHC, which they have, several deaths involving fire have been attributed to spontaneous human combustion by investigators and storytellers. Charles Dickens used spontaneous human combustion as cause of death of a heavy drinker in his novel Bleak House. Yes, this is true. This is back in the 1800s when they thought spontaneous human combustion was caused by alcohol. Fueling a popular belief that excessive drinking could lead to spontaneous human combustion. Responding to criticism that he was encouraging nonsense in the second edition of Bleak House, Dickens claims he knew of some 30 cases of spontaneous human combustion, but he mentions only 2. Both cases allegedly happened over 100 years earlier. Dickens or his sources probably got his information about spontaneous human combustions from stories collected by Jonas Dupont, published in the De Incogniti Corpus Human Spontaneous something or other back in the 1700s. Let's see here. Physical possibilities, it says. The physical possibilities of spontaneous human combustions are remote. Not only is the body mostly water, but aside from fat, tissue, and methane gas, there isn't much that burns readily in a human body. To cremate a human body requires a temperature of 1600 degrees Fahrenheit for about 2 hours. To get a chemical reaction in a human body that would lead to ignition would require some doing. If the deceased had recently eaten an enormous amount of hay that was infested with bacteria, enough heat might be generated to ignite the hay, but not much besides the gut and the intestines would probably burn. Or if the deceased had been eating the newspaper and drank some oil and was left to rot for a couple of weeks in a well heated room, his gut might ignite. Wow, they're being funny here. And in each of these ludicrous scenarios, additional oxygen would have to be introduced. These possibilities are so far fetched that I have no reason to believe they or anything like them has ever occurred. Oh, yes. The Larry Arnold's theory. This is something a whole lot different. It's kind of almost what I'm saying, but not quite. But Larry Arnold, his theory says that sometimes human cells are hit by a mysterious particle, the pyrotron, that causes a nuclear chain reaction inside a person's body. Is based on a wild speculation and ignorance of cellular life and spontaneous nuclear fusion. Some other theories without merit are microwave amplification, emission of radiation induction, geomagnetism, and even Kundalini, whatever the hell that is, a form of yoga mystic body healing or heating. Okay. Perhaps the most preposterous suggestion is that stress can cause a body to burst into flames, or that hydrogen and oxygen remain as gases in human cells and are thus highly ignitable, in which case the reader would do well not to inhale. Ha! Wow. And then it goes on, it talks about the wick effect, which we already talked about, that the body fat would burn hot enough to, in certain places, destroy even bones. To prove that a human being might burn like a candle, Dr. John D. Hand of the California Institute wrapped a dead pig in a blanket, poured a small amount of gasoline on the blanket, and ignited it. Even the bones were destroyed after 5 hours of continuous burning. The fat content of a pig is very similar to the fat content of a human being. The damage to the pig, according to Dean Hand, is exactly the same as that supposed spontaneous human combustion. I don't believe that for crap. No way. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. No way. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So, anywho, where are we here? Rob says, maybe they are planted with explosive after abduction. They planted to see what will happen. That's funny. Rob Gray, hello, sir. Maybe it's human mutation and the aliens burned them to destroy the evidence. Well, and if you really want to talk about ufology, the out-of-body experiences and stuff like that, like I was talking about, with my theory, my thesis and stuff, depending on how it works. You remember the old Star Trek movies, Beam Me Up, Scotty? And how they put them on the transporter and, and all your molecules are disappearing. That it could be something of that nature, But how would you explain that? I mean, seriously, you know what I mean? It's crazy stuff when you really stop to look at it, But Dave says it's too bad there are many fake photos. Makes the truth look like even cases is a hoax. Well, and you know what, Dave? That's how it is. And it's the same thing with UFOs and everything else, the CGI films and pictures that people fake. It's just they always got to fake stuff. They can't never look for the real truth. And it's sad. Yeah. Julie says we are probably only seeing what we are because the photos are pre-digital. Yeah, exactly. Sharon says, how about focused sound waves? Puff. Yeah, well, if you remember, what was the deal there with the invisible, the Philadelphia experiment? Remember that with the ship? And those guys, that supposedly got tangled up in that? Could be the same kind of thing, So Jennifer says, I was thinking radiation, but how? Yeah, it would have to be induced, Sharon is on to something, Rob says, like the people in Cuba who got sick from some sonic wave sound machine. Yeah. And, excuse me, we actually used that machine. There's a name for it. Anybody know what it is? They use it for big crowds, and stuff, and they throw them sound waves out and, makes people sick to their stomachs. Yeah. Julie says, seems like the ones you found pictures were mostly older, senior age. And that is, yes, that is pretty much right. They're not showing anybody young. Most of these people are up in age, 50, 60, 70 years old. Some of them even older than that. So, yeah, it seems to be mostly women, mostly older people. And there was something else that went along with that, too, I was thinking of. I think it was 30% of them smoked and the other part didn't, or whatever. And only half of them, or maybe 60% of them, actually drank, But there was a couple of them that didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't do any of that stuff. So, there you go. Gail says, love you, but I got to go. Okay. Well, I'm glad you were here, sweetie. Thank you. Yeah. So, yes, Julie, you're absolutely correct. LRAD. Yes. That's exactly the name of the deal, is LRAD. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name. But that is the sound wave devices that they use. Rob says maybe a combination of meds and environmental to get the right mixture to proof explosive. Yeah, you don't know. Yep, long range acoustic device. Yep, exactly. That's what it is. LRAD. Yep. Crazy stuff though, folks. I mean, it's just what do you do with that? So I'm trying to figure out if I'm on the right track with this portals and wormholes and stuff, if it's electronically done or, how do you say it? Molecular. Yeah. Rob says, yeah, I need one of those to get the neighbors to shut up. That's funny. Yep. Yeah, they use them for crowd control and stuff. It's pretty crazy. Let me see what else. Oh, yes, I was going to share this one. Let me see here. Chrome tab. Where are we? Here we go. This has got some pretty good reading to it. Let's see here. Many people believe that spontaneous human combustion was first documented in such early texts as the Bible. But scientifically speaking, these accounts are too old and second-handed to be seen as reliable evidence. Now, before I go any further, and I know exactly which one they're talking about. Does anybody happen to know what they're talking about as far as the Bible goes? What you would think they were talking about? What comes to your mind? Anybody? I know one. Remember the old gal that got turned into a pillar of salt running from... Yeah, no, it wouldn't be Moses in the bush. Julie says, Lot's wife. Exactly, BJ. Lot's wife. She got turned into a pillar of salt. Spontaneous human combustion. Except actually God was supposed to have been the one that destroyed her, but that's, yeah. Lot's wife. Exactly right. That's what I'm thinking of. Yep. Pretty awesome. Okay, let's go back here. Over the past 300 years, there have been more than 200 reports of persons burning to a crisp for no apparent reason. I like how they put that. I'm not going to go through all of this here because we already went through a lot of it. It talks about some cases back in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. Okay, here's Mary Reeser. This is the one I was talking about with the older lady with the one leg. 1951. Mary Reeser case recaptured the public interest in spontaneous human combustion. She was 67 years old and was found in her apartment in the morning, July 2nd, 1951, reduced to a pile of ash, a skull, and a completely undamaged left foot. This event had become the foundation for many a book on the subject of spontaneous human combustion, since the most notable being Michael Harrison, Fire from Heaven, printed in 1976. Fire from Heaven has become the standard reference work on spontaneous human combustion. Now, it doesn't mention the deal about her skull. It does say that they found her skull, but her skull was shrunken. That was one of the things about that particular case. It's the size of a teacup. Crazy, huh? Well, here it talks about it again. Yeah. The most famous case occurred in St. Peters, Florida. Mary Harder Reeser, 67-year-old widow, spontaneous combustion while sitting in her easy chair. The next morning, a next-door neighbor turned the doorknob, found it to be hot and to the touch, and went for help. Actually, it was her landlord. It wasn't her neighbor. Returned to find Miss Reese on what was left of her in the blackened circle 4 foot in diameter. All that remained of the 175-pound woman and her chair was a few blackened seat springs, a section of her backbone, a shrunken skull, there we go, the size of a baseball, and 1 foot encased in a black satin slipper. Just beyond the 4 foot circle, plus about 10 pounds of ash. The police report declared that Mrs. Reeser went up in smoke when her highly flammable rayon nightgown caught fire, perhaps because of a dropped cigarette. But one medical examiner stated that 3,000 degree heat required to destroy the body should have destroyed the apartment as well. In fact, damage was minimal. The ceiling and upper walls were covered with soot. No chemical acceleration were found. So there you go. Yeah. And that's just how crazy them stories get. See? Yeah. What was that, Rob? Well, after she turned to salt, they used her for their steaks. That's funny. Julie says, "Oh my God, go up, laugh way too much on that one." Glad I could bring some laughs. Yep, good deal. So yeah, can you imagine the size of a baseball? Your human head. I mean, that's what is that, like that big around? Seriously, how does a skull shrink? I mean, that just doesn't make sense, And polyester, yeah, like BJ says, polyester is a plastic that melts. It's not something that's going to burn. It's going to be like a candle, or whatever, like a crayon. It's like wax, whatever. But crazy stuff. So anyway, anybody have any ideas? That's pretty much it for me as far as that goes. But I wanted to bring that to you and talk about it a little bit and see what people's insights were, or, what they thought. What's right, what's wrong? Any ideas out there? I wasn't even using my stuff tonight. I got all these nice little tickers and everything. I wasn't even using them or anything. Got wrapped up in I'm hoping one of these days I get a new webcam here another week or two. We'll see what happens. I sure would like to straighten some of this mess out a little bit. But I tell you what, though, this thing is working really super well. I haven't had any issues other than me personally screwing it up. But I haven't had any problems with it. It's been working really super well. So, yeah. Rob says, during extreme heat, bones usually splinter and shatter like during cremation. And, and that's another thing too, Rob. I'm glad you brought that up, because when you're cremated and, they put you in a wooden coffin, they shove you in the oven, it takes like 3,000 degrees or whatever it is, and they let you cook for 7-8 hours. And after you cool down, and all that stuff, they literally put you in a grinder afterwards. Seriously, because there's too many chunky bones left, that they actually put you in a grinder, grind you up, and, put you in your bag or whatever. So still, here we have something that's literally burning you to ash. Okay. And they can't even do that in a crematorium. So, yeah, how does that happen? Love to see you so passionate about a subject. Oh, absolutely. I have to be. I love this stuff. It's pretty cool. Is that Facebook Live with all those options, or is that the stream service? No, this is the streaming service. This is StreamYard. Yeah. Pamela says, has to be something that is beyond our capabilities / comprehension, and from more advanced tech or alien abduction gone wrong. I agree, and I'm thinking, I'm actually going back to the wormhole / portal kind of thing, that got opened up, and they didn't make it through. That's But that's just a theory of mine, I'm trying to work on, and that's why I got wrapped up into this today, because I was actually looking at this as part of my theory. So, I mean, this is why we have missing people and all kind of stuff, and spontaneous human combustion was one of those deals I put in there. So, yeah. Yeah, Rob, it's a great. They actually have a free side of it, but you don't get all the bells and whistles with the free site, you know. But other than that, it's $25 a month, and it even has green screen capability that you can use for your background and stuff, which is really cool. So. BJ says, I had to sign a release from where my husband was cremated that I understood that the ashes could have dust from other people from the processing. Wow, ain't that something? Yeah. Yeah. Henry, is that you? No, this is Merle. Where's my Henry? Yeah. Crazy stuff. So anyway, yeah, interesting topic, no doubt about it. And I'll bring more to you about it later on as I get more in depth, you know, and stuff like that. But I thought it'd be a good topic tonight, just for the hell of it, to you know, see what people thought and bring it to people's attention. So yeah, but that is spontaneous human combustion. But I'm not going to agree with this wick effect. I mean, I understand what they're saying and stuff, but I just don't see it getting hot enough to burn bone. No way. Not like that. Not like that. Rob says, what does Rob say? Explain the connection about portals for this topic. Oh, well, I have a theory that I just came out with. Actually, we did a show about it a couple times, where people with missing time, out of body experiences, spontaneous human combustion, things like that. There's 6 different type of wormholes out there. Whether or not they're parallel with us or whatever, I'm still working on the thesis right now. But you know, you have a 2-way wormhole that you can travel in and back again in the same one, which would be for like out of body experiences, near death experiences, you know, things like that. The 1-way wormhole is things for like missing people that just up and disappear, no trace whatsoever. You can go into them, but you can't come back because it's only a 1-way. The non-transversible wormhole, which is where spontaneous human combustion comes into. It's a wormhole that you go into, but it's blocked. You can't go in and you can't come out. You know, basically it collapses on top of you and, you know, it destroys you. So I'll have to do another show about that theory. And actually I can do a slide presentation and the whole 9 yards. So I'll get that together and bring that back up, and, you know, maybe I can get better insight. But Sharon says there is a forest in, I believe, North New Hampshire. A portal there that shifts. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. But my theory basically is, you know, these portals just all of a sudden show up. Sometimes, you know, people try to, you know, they walk through them, don't even know that they're in them, basically. You know, but there's also part of my theory, I think, is when you die, because of your energy level, depending if you're sick or, in good health or whatever, is the type of wormhole that you get to use, or you can conjure up, so to speak, your spirit. So, but like I said, it's just a thesis. I'm still working on it, but I think we do a lot of traveling back and forth through these wormholes, which explains a lot, for these disappearances and near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, and stuff like that. And deja vu was another one, missing time, things like that. So, yes, please do. Yeah, I'm going to. Rob says I got to find it. I want to walk through to a parallel dimension where I am a millionaire. Yeah. Yeah. I have lost 10 minutes coming home at night. Started down this road, which takes 5 minutes tops. Entered at 4:25. She left at 4:30. Dash clock said 4:40. Lost 10 minutes. Well, there you go. Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Half the time, people don't even know they even were in them. It's just like, here you are, there you are, and you have no idea that you had this lost time, Yeah, pretty crazy. But it's just part of my theory, But I'll get all this stuff together. I'll put it into a presentation now that I got this setup that I have now, and I can actually show you exactly what I'm talking about, how it works. And, but I need to find some people that's got some kind of fees or what do they call that? I'm brain dead. I'm telling you, I am so brain dead. The thing that Einstein and them did, with their mathematics. Yeah. Pamela says, I am a clock watcher. That's how I notice it. Yeah, and I'm the same way, since Pam. It's crazy. So great show, more info. Yes, thank you, Sharon. Yeah. But like I said, I'll gather that all up. I'll put it together and bring out another presentation. I did a couple of shows about it, one on Spreaker, and the last one I did here wasn't too long ago, actually, but the video was all choppy and it was just a bad connection. The whole thing was just screwed up. So I'll do an actual real presentation and I'll bring my new stuff out that I've come up with on that. And, we'll put it together and show everybody what's going on with it. But so, yeah, that's my deal, Pamela, is repeating numbers. And that's part of my theory, by the way. So with the 111s and the 222s and stuff like that, I'm constantly getting them on my cell phone all the time. I'm looking at it now, but yeah. But normally it's the 111s and the 1010s a lot. I get a lot of them, depending on certain numbers. But always, it seems like always the 1111 or the 111 is the ones I always get. It's crazy, but it drives me nuts. No doubt about it. Alrighty, folks. Well, here it is, almost 8 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and call her a night, but I wanted to bring that all out to you and thought we could talk about it and stuff. But yeah, I'll do that. I'll take a couple days here. See, this is what, Tuesday? So Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, I'll come back Thursday. And I'll gather up all this stuff. I'll get a good presentation going here, and we'll do that whole bit. So we can do that. in the meantime, please take it safe. Be careful who you're around. Don't go getting sick on us or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And stay safe and, you know. Oh, thank you. Omar's with us. Cool. Maureen Thompson. I had a close encounter of the second kind with 30 minutes of missing time in this UFO, very large, mother-sized, with lots of other traffic light trucks. They was with us. Cool. Fantastic. Now you know why I call my show Closer Encounters. I think it fits just right. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Rob. You too, Julie. Julie says, thanks. Have a good night. Sharon says, I also believe the government knows and immediately red flag spot combustion and kills all new reports. Yeah, I honestly believe something's going on there. No doubt. So, and BJ says, everyone have a great evening. Thanks, Clarence. Night all. Be safe. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, Rob says, not too close. Laugh my ass off. Okay, folks. Well, we're going to call her a night. Looks like I'm going to need a breathing treatment here pretty soon, too. So, but I appreciate y'all being here, and God bless you. We'll catch up with you in the next couple of nights. Get the other show going. I want to thank you all for listening to Closer Encounters. Please remember to like, follow, and share. And until we meet again, keep your eyes to the skies. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.